Taiwan VP says country will not back down to threats during U.S. trip. Goldman predicts first Fed rate cut for second quarter of 2024. U.S. and Japan to develop hypersonic missile interceptor. Rheinmetall to deliver Luna drone system to Ukraine by year-end. Militants attack Pakistani military convoy escorting Chinese nationals. Yen breaks above 145 DLR level in choppy trading. Argentine far-right outsider Javier Milei enjoys surprising win in primary election. Mount Etna eruption closes Sicily's Catania airport.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Tuesday, August 15th, and here are your top stories. Taiwan's vice president told supporters on a U.S. visit that Taiwan will not be afraid nor back down in the face of authoritarian threats while retaining a willingness to talk to China. William Light, also frontrunner in Taiwan's next presidential election, told a supporters' lunch in New York on Sunday that if Taiwan is safe, the world is safe. If the Taiwan Strait is peaceful, then the world is peaceful. He said, no matter how great the threat of authoritarianism is to Taiwan, we will uphold the values of democracy and freedom.
我们绝不畏惧退缩，我们一定坚持民主自由的价值。
Lai reiterated in New York that on the basic principle of dignity and parity he was very willing to talk to China and seek peace and stability. Lai said he will protect Taiwan's sovereignty, that only Taiwan's people can decide their future and that the Republic of China, Taiwan's formal name, and the People's Republic of China are not subordinate to each other. Lai's speech was attended by Ingrid Larson, managing director of the American Institute in Taiwan, a U.S. government run that carries out unofficial relations with Taiwan.
Goldman Sachs Group Inc. economists anticipate the Federal Reserve will start lowering interest rates by the end of next June, with a gradual quarterly pace of reductions from that point. Goldman economists, including Jean Hetzuis and David Miracle, wrote in a note dated Sunday. The cuts in our forecast are driven by this desire to normalize the funds rate from a restrictive level once inflation is closer to target. For now, the Goldman team is penciling in rate cuts to begin in the second quarter of 2024.
The rate-setting Federal Open Market Committee is expected to skip a hike next month and conclude at the November meeting that the core inflation trend has slowed enough to make a final hike unnecessary. The Goldman economists wrote, "We are penciling in 25 basis points of cuts per quarter but are uncertain about the pace." Last week, data showed that U.S. inflation rose at a slower than expected headline rate of 3.2%, with the core consumer price index, which strips out energy and food costs, running at a 4.7% annual pace.
Japan's Yomiuri newspaper said on Sunday that Japan and the U.S. will agree this week to jointly develop an interceptor missile to counter hypersonic warheads being developed by China, Russia, and North Korea. The report said that the agreement on interceptors to target weapons designed to evade existing ballistic missile defenses is expected when President Joe Biden meets Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in the U.S. on Friday. An agreement would be the second such collaboration in missile defense technology.
The United States and Japan are reportedly looking into teaming up to create a hypersonic missile interceptor.
The U.S. and Japan agreed in January to consider developing the interceptor at a meeting of Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin with their Japanese counterparts, Foreign Minister Yoshimasa Hayashi and Defense Minister Yasukazu Hamada. Washington and Tokyo developed a longer-range missile designed to hit warheads in space, which Japan is deploying on warships in the sea between Japan and the Korean Peninsula to guard against North Korean missile strikes.
Bild im Sonntag newspaper reported on Sunday that Rheinmetall, a German automotive and arms manufacturer, will deliver a Luna new generation drone system to Ukraine by the year end. Bild said the drones package consists of a ground control station with several drones, a launch catapult, and military trucks. In addition, Bild said the drone system could be used as reconnaissance system, provide an LTE network, and intercept or jam communications.
Ukraine is desperate to boost its weapons arsenal, from drones and munitions to tanks, as it battles to repel Russia's invasion. Drones have been integrated into every phase of fighting on both sides with extensive fleets, air defenses, and jamming systems. The Handelsblatt newspaper reported on August 8 that Rheinmetall was identified as the previously unknown buyer who recently purchased 50 Leopard 1 tanks for Ukraine from the Belgian company OIP Land Systems.
Pakistan military in China's consulate in Karachi said militants attacked a Pakistani military convoy near the strategic southwestern port of Gwadar on Sunday as it was escorting a delegation of Chinese nationals to a construction project. China's consulate in Karachi condemned the attack, adding in a statement that there were no casualties among its citizens on the convoy. A Pakistani security official, speaking on condition of anonymity, also said 2 attackers died in a gun battle without any injuries in the convoy.
The source said the attack targeted Chinese passengers traveling from Gwadar Airport towards a construction site in the port area. Separatist group the Baluchistan Liberation Army, BLA, claimed the attack, saying it inflicted multiple casualties. However, no other reports from the area confirmed such casualties. The BLA and other militant groups say Pakistan exploits the province's natural resources and have targeted Chinese interests in recent years for supporting that.
While the dollar rose to touch a more than 1-month high, the yen was volatile on Monday after slipping to its lowest for the year against the dollar, breaching the key 145 level as traders warily look for clues on possible intervention. The Japanese yen weakened to as low as 145.22 per dollar in early Asian hours, its lowest since November 10, 2022, before quickly reversing course. The yen was last at 144.96 per dollar, flat on the day. Japan intervened in currency markets last September when the dollar rose past 145 yen.
The combined purchase of the yen at South Korea's 4 major banks in May.
Japan's low yields have made the currency an easy target for short sellers and funding trades, with the widening gap in the interest rates between Japan and the United States leading to persistent weakness in the yen. The yen has fallen around 20% since the Federal Reserve began rapidly raising rates to combat soaring inflation in March 2022, while the Bank of Japan remains stuck in an extremely accommodating stance. The yen is down over 9% against the dollar for the year.
Argentine voters punished the country's 2 main political forces in a primary election on Sunday, pushing a rock-singing libertarian outsider candidate into first place in a huge shakeup in the race towards presidential elections in October. With some 90% of ballots counted, far-right libertarian economist Javier Milei had 30.5% of the vote, far higher than predicted, with the main conservative opposition bloc behind on 28% and the ruling Peronist coalition in third place on 27%.
Even Javier Milei looks like he can't believe it himself.
The economic crisis has left many Argentines disillusioned with the main political parties and opened the door for Milei, who struck a chord especially with young people. As polls closed in the early evening after voting system glitches caused long lines in capital Buenos Aires, all the talk in campaign hubs was about Milei, a brash outsider who has pledged to shutter the central bank and dollarize the economy. Former conservative President Mauricio Macri said Milei's growth speaks of people's anger with politics.
Flights serving the eastern Sicilian city of Catania were halted on Monday after an eruption from nearby Mount Etna. Local authorities said the 3,330-meter volcano burst into action overnight, firing lava and ash high over the Mediterranean island. The lava flow subsided before dawn, but ash was still coming from one of the craters. The Catania airport operator said that flights to and from Catania, a popular tourist destination, will remain suspended until 6 a.m. local time on Tuesday morning.
Well, this has a potential impact for many, many thousands of people.
Catania Mayor Enrico Trantino banned the use of motorcycles and bicycles in the city for the next 48 hours, because many streets were covered in ash, and ordered cars to drive no faster than 30 kilometers per hour due to the skiddy conditions. Incoming flights were diverted to other airports in Sicily on Monday. It is the peak of the summer holiday season in Italy, where Tuesday is a public holiday. Passengers were advised to check with airlines before heading to the airport on Tuesday.
Now let's delve into the news of US and Japan developing hypersonic missile Interceptor. Number 1, joint. 联合的、共同的、共用的. The report was a joint effort. Number 2, evade. 逃避、规避、有指法律或道德责任. She's trying to evade all responsibility for her behavior. Number 3, collaboration. 合作、协作. The government worked in close collaboration with teachers on the new curriculum. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section below. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.